welcome back to Adelaide's Makeup Tutorial channel. So today is the last look I'm going to do in my hand makeup series for a little while. I'm going to go back to doing full face makeups for the next few weeks. But don't stress, if you have requested a hand look and I haven't done it yet, I will probably do a few more later on in the year. So today's look was requested from Ariana Gomez, and thank you so much for sending in your request for a red fox hand look. When I lived in Japan, I saw these little guys everywhere and I absolutely love them. They're so cute. So today I decided to do a red fox makeup on my hand, and I want to say it's a little bit inspired by Juniper Fox. If you haven't seen Juniper on Instagram, go and check her out. She is adorable and she's best friends with an Australian Shepherd cross Malamute called Moose, who is just as cute as her. So make sure you go and check them out. I'll leave the link for Juniper's Instagram in the description box down below. And the reason that this one is a little bit like Juniper Fox is because I've added in the little tooth that she has sticking out of her mouth. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this one right now. Okay, so first I'm applying this orange eyeshadow over my entire eyelid, and I'm extending it down underneath my eye as well, and down onto my cheek, just feathering out the edges. Next I'm taking a dark brown eyeshadow on a fairly thin brush, and I'm applying this from the outer corner of my eye downwards towards my jawline, and I'm also applying another line on the inner corner of my eye downwards in the same direction. I'm taking a slightly bigger brush with that same brown eyeshadow, and I'm just shading that on the outer corner of my eye on the underneath of my eye. I'm also applying it from my nose up into my eyebrow. Next I'm taking a white face paint and I'm covering my entire eyebrow, and I'm also bringing it down to meet with that orange eyeshadow, and I'm feathering out the edges on each side of the white face paint. Now using a very thin eyeliner brush, I'm applying some black face paint in very thin lines from the inner corner of my eyebrow up towards my hairline. These are going to resemble whiskers. Next, using that white face paint again, I'm drawing a fox ear on my forehead just above those black whiskers, and this is basically just a triangle with no bottom. I'm then starting to fill in that ear with the white face paint, but I'm leaving a small gap about halfway along, and I'm going to fill that in using a black eyeshadow, and then once again go over the top of that eyeshadow with the white face paint, just flicking over the top of it to create a fur-like texture. Then using the orange eyeshadow from before, I'm just tracing around the edges of that ear, and then using the black face paint again, I'm just drawing a very small thin line on the top of the ear. Then going in with a fairly dull yellow face paint, I'm applying it all the way over my nose, down onto my cheek, and in between the ear and the eyebrow. Now going in with a black eyeliner, I'm applying it on my top lash line, and I'm slightly extending it on the outer corner as well as the inner corner, and then I'm extending from the inner corner along the underneath of my waterline. Also filling in my waterline with a black eyeliner pencil. I'm then applying black mascara to my top and bottom lashes. Next, I'm applying my feature hand on my face, and using a white eyeliner pencil, I'm roughly lining up where the eye, the nose, and the mouth will be. Okay, so now I'm placing my hand onto a bench, and I just want to remind you here that I am actually right-handed, so I am doing this all with my left hand, which is extremely difficult. So I do recommend doing the feature on your hand that isn't your dominant hand, so it will be a lot easier to draw all of these lines onto your hand. So still using my white eyeliner pencil here, I'm just refining some of those details, as well as adding in a few more details that there are on the fox's face. So I'm using a photo as reference here. I am using a photo of Juniper Fox, but I recommend using any photo you can find of a fox's face on Google, and it is a good idea to make sure it's a nice close-up photo of their face so that you can really get the details right. Okay, now I'm taking my white face paint and I'm painting pretty much the entire bottom half of my hand, and I'm leaving a distinct line where it's going to transition into the orange colour. So you will notice on a fox's face there is a fairly obvious line where it changes from one colour to the next. Next, I'm painting the top half of my fingers with that light yellow paint that I used before on my face. But I am only painting just above the nose and right next to the eye. I'm leaving the outside of the eye clear, as well as obviously inside the eye, and the top of my thumb as well. Next, I'm using my white face paint to paint over where the eyebrow should be, as I did on my face. And I'm just fading and smudging that white paint out a little bit using my finger. Now I'm taking my black face paint on my thin eyeliner brush once again, and I'm tracing around the outside of the eye and the nose and the mouth, and then also filling in the nose with that colour as well. Next, I'm taking that orange eyeshadow that I used on my eyelid, and I'm applying that on my hand where the eyelid should be. I'm also applying it underneath the eye as I did on my eye on my face. And after I've done that, I'm taking my dark brown eyeshadow again, and I'm applying this in the same pattern that I applied it onto the eye on my face. I'm then taking a light green face paint, which almost looks like it has a hint of yellow in it, and I'm applying that into the eye area. I'm then also taking an actual yellow face paint and applying it over the top of that green and smudging it into the green using my finger. I'm then taking the black face paint and just neatening up the edges of the eye, and also applying the pupil on top of the green face paint. I'm then taking my white face paint and adding 2 very small white dots to the top of the pupil to give the effect of light shining on the eye. As I did on my face, I'm taking a black face paint on that thin eyeliner brush and applying some whiskers above the eyebrow. I'm then taking my white face paint again, and I'm just going over that white that I've already placed on the bottom half of the hand. And I'm mainly making the area around the nose and mouth quite circular, and then underneath the mouth I'm doing very small quick strokes to give the effect of fur. Once I've done that, I'm taking my black face paint again and applying very small dots as well as whiskers around the mouth. I'm then taking a black eyeshadow and just smudging some random spots here and there to give the fur a little bit more texture. And lastly, I'm taking my white face paint and applying Juniper's signature tooth that she has sticking out of her mouth. And once I've applied the white, I'm just going around it using the black face paint. Okay, and there we have our completed Red Fox hand makeup tutorial. If you enjoyed this one today, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. I do one new tutorial every single week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys for the next tutorial. Bye, idolizers!